Welcome to First Fridays with the FBI. I will be joined by Jeanette Harper, Special Agent and Andrews High School graduate here in El Paso, Texas. She will share information designed to keep us safe in our communities, not just here on the border, but nationwide. If you have topics you would like the FBI to address, please send an email to firstfridaysfbi@gmail.com, or you may contact me on social media at First Fridays FBI on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're also on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. And now today's show is about romance scams. We all know what that means. Online dating, dating in person, anything that criminals, perpetrators will use to try to get your money. Welcome to First Fridays with the FBI. I will be joined by Jeanette Harper, Special Agent and Andrews High School graduate here in El Paso, Texas. She will share information designed to keep us safe in our communities, not just here on the border, but nationwide. If you have topics you would like the FBI to address, please send an email to firstfridaysfbi@gmail.com, or you may contact me on social media at First Fridays FBI on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're also on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. And now today's show is about romance scams. We all know what that means. Online dating, dating in person, anything that criminals, perpetrators will use. Welcome, Jeanette, to First Fridays with the FBI. As you can see, we have a new look on a different platform because everybody wanted to kind of keep it separate so they wouldn't get confused with my midlife talks and the FBI talks. Today, we're going to be talking about romance scams.
Yes, it's a topic to bring up, romance scams, since it is February, the month of love. But it's really important to stress that romance scams occur all year long. So it happens to be February, month of love, like I said, but really can stress it. But we just want to be able to educate people so they can be aware of this to protect themselves all year long.
Okay, and I know it's the month of love, but is there, and I should probably wait for this question, but does it usually happen more often in February?
No, it doesn't. Okay. It happens year round. Like individuals are on sites looking for companionship year round. It just happens that a lot of the dating sites are more prominent now because it's easy to use, social media type aspects. So we're seeing an increase that way. The pandemic has also spurred an increase just because people were at home, couldn't go out into enjoy their normal lives outside their houses. They were stuck at home. So they just reached out to try to find that companionship.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So tell us briefly about romance scams and including some types of scams.
So romance scams is basically an individual that has found you, let's say, online, either on a dating website, a social media chat site, online gaming, that sort of thing. They look at your dating profiles. They also they go back and they look at your social media accounts just to glean information about you, right? So that way you're going to meet somebody online. They'll have pictures of themselves. Usually those pictures are used across, you can find them on a Google Images search. So they're used on many different platforms and it's the same man. It might be a different name, that sort of thing. But what they're trying to do is develop a relationship with you by professing the same likes. So this individual likes the same songs as you, has the same interests as you, has just the same general likes and dislikes as you. So they will usually keep a journal on you and your conversations, just so they can develop their ploy, I guess, or the way of deceit in order to have you fall in love with them. It's a very emotionally driven scam that we see with romance scams, because with a lot of individuals, when your heart takes over, logic tends to go away, right? So we've all seen it where we've seen you can't see the bad of the relationship, but you're just so in love, you're so infatuated with someone that is perfect, right? Because they portray themselves as that perfect individual. They're usually they're all online. A lot of these individuals tend to be overseas. They always have some kind of emergency that may come up, or they tell you that they are in a business and they need your help to fund this business venture once they develop that relationship with you. And you never are able to meet this person in person. They're always an excuse. Their flight is canceled. They're held up at customs, or they have some kind of emergency health issue what prevents them from you actually meeting them. We've seen instances here in El Paso where individuals, the flight is canceled and we've never met the individual. So some of the scams that go along with romance scam, it's not just them taking advantage of you, it progresses. Like they ask you to receive money for them because maybe there's some reason why they can't cash a check or send money over, or some weird excuse that they may have. So you're going to start falling victim to money mule schemes. It's an easy way for you to become a money launderer, in essence, for them. So they'll ask you to bring cashier checks into your bank, funnel it through your bank account, and then send it to a friend or a relative or pseudo business that they may have set up. We've seen individuals that have funneled over $6 million within their bank accounts because they're in love with this individual. So there's just a wide variety, but the main scheme that happens with romance scams is the money laundering, money mule. It's very important that because financial institutions will start seeing a lot of money going through your bank accounts because it triggers an alert. And once they report that to the FBI or to other individuals, we have to come talk to you and give you an order of cease and desist. Once we inform you that you're being a victim or you're participating in a money mule scheme, you are coming complicit in that illegal activity. And if you don't stop because you're so in love with this person, you don't want to believe that this person is using you to commit a crime, then you can be responsible for that illegal activity as well and can face federal prosecution.
You know, according to the Pew Research, because I try to do a lot of reading up on, especially dating, because, you know, I have a daughter who, you know, she's at that age where she'll be dating. I have friends who have kids who will be, you know, their kids will be dating young adults. And according to Pew Research, about 30% of US Americans use online dating websites or apps. So are dating sites and apps the most used medium for victims to be approached?
Currently it is. So when I was younger, I always remember it was newspaper ads, and then it became some kind of telephone dating service type thing where you could go on and pick profiles. But now it's social media. We do everything on social media. So you have the eHarmonies, Match.com, you have there's a Christian one. So, and then there's one for seniors, right? So it is a big environment where everybody feels like they can vet. You can vet future partners and then develop that relationship online. So yes, it is a huge medium that we're seeing. It's being utilized proficiently by the scammers because again, they can have several different profiles on the same site, and there's so many people online looking for that companion. And you'll see it on heterosexual sites as well as homosexual sites as well that are geared towards the LGBTQ community. So
now, are the victims usually men or women?
So what we see is that anyone can fall victim to a romance scam. It could be women, it could be men, it could be anybody in the LGBT community. Any sexual orientation can fall victim to this. But what we see is perpetrators will go after women that are in their 40s and over, that have recently either been widowed, divorced, they're either disabled or going through a very hard time in their life, right? So they're looking for some sort of vulnerability, emotional type vulnerability or lack of knowledge of what kind of scams are out there. Because again, once you start thinking with your heart, that's the best feeling, is that initial euphoria that somebody is the perfect one for you and you feel that you found that individual. So it's easy for you to fall victim to a scam that way.
Now, I know, and like I said, whenever I talk to you, I try to see if I have friends or family members who may have gone through something similar. And I did find out, just from asking, that I had a few friends who were kind of scammed when it came to romance, but they were men, and they said they just let it go. They didn't want to say anything about it. They just let it go. So I can imagine maybe, with different people, it just depends. They don't want to be embarrassed, and that's why some may not report it.
Exactly why. So we have some individuals that do, but majority of the individuals that have fallen victim to this, they are extremely embarrassed. They don't want to admit that they fell for a scammer, correct? And it may be family members that find out that their mother or their aunt or their grandmother is in this relationship. And they're like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. It seems like a scam. But that individual is so emotionally invested that they don't believe their family members. So we've seen that where there's trying to be an intervention from their family. So it's very important that if you are a family member, to not be abrasive, to not come across as, because all you're going to do is make them defensive, and they're not going to believe you because they're emotionally attached to the situation. So you really have to be careful how you come across and broach the situation. You may want to show them this, if you did the Google image search, like mom, dad, hey, this individual is involved in this site, this site, this site, this site. We've seen him. This is what, because I think you can find, is it too good to be true? You can find information about that picture or that name, because they tend to use the same name over and over and over again. So it's just be very careful how you approach your loved one when you're letting them know, because they're not going to believe you and they'll probably shut you off. If that's the case, then you may have to take more aggressive steps as far as contacting maybe their banking institution or the authorities to try to help them get out of that situation.
So what about here in El Paso? Are there victims here of romance scams? Like, I know that many are online, and I'll wait till after that to ask my next question about the perpetrators. But are there a lot of victims here in El Paso? And if so, have they suffered financially?
Yes, we do. Like I said, anybody can fall victim, and we do have here. So a few of the reports that we have for El Paso AOR, for the El Paso area of responsibility, is last year in 2021, we had over 79 reports of a victim in a romance scam. That doesn't sound like a lot because of the vast amount that we cover here for the West Texas area. But these individuals lost $1.4 million. So that is a significant amount of money just from romance confidence scams. So far this year, for just the first month of January, we've had 4 reports, and they've only lost $9,000, but it's only the first month of the year. So we're on track, because romance scams are the second most costly scam across the United States. So it's just, it has cost people billions of dollars across the United States just for romance scams.
We're just 1 month into the new year, so $9,000 so far.
Yes, and
here in El Paso.
Here in El Paso, and those 4 reports are just in the city of El Paso, and that's not including Midland and the rest of the area. So it's just individuals probably haven't found out yet, because maybe they had a new relationship that started in December, right during the holidays, or they were too embarrassed to report it, right? These numbers I've given to you have only been reported to us at our Internet Crime Complaint Center, and some individuals may be reporting it to the FTC instead of us, but I don't have their data, I just have ours.
Are you able to share where these romance scams happen? Were they all online, or were some here in person?
No, they're all online.
Besides the fact that we do have victims here, are there perpetrators here on the border who do take advantage of those who may be looking for love, or, like you said, just got out of a relationship?
So that can happen in any scam, right? There's nothing, you can have the in-person, is it the gigolo, right? You can still have them, they're still alive and well. But what we mainly see is the online scam. So a lot of these individuals are outside of the country. I mean, they have very complex scripts. They've fine-tuned them. They take your information you put on social media and they use that towards you. They could be in Mexico. They could be in China. They could be across the world, because as we all know, the internet affects everyone across the world. But just because a lot of the crimes happen online doesn't mean we still don't have the traditional, schemer and gigolo that's out there that's just trying to get a quick dollar from a relationship.
So of course, if you're listening, they could be anywhere. They could be online, but they could actually be right here in El Paso too. So, and I know it happens across the nation. So how can people avoid becoming victims? Like when we're online or in person, what are some suggestions that the FBI has to avoid becoming a victim?
So in all online scams, we just tell you, be very careful of what you put online, what you put on your social media accounts. Check your privacy settings to make sure it's only your friends that are seeing what you have. Check the privacy settings on your profiles on the dating websites that you might be on. Research the person's profile and their pictures to see if it's hitting different names, different locations, different dating websites. There are some websites out there that'll talk about victims of catfishing, and they'll put the picture and the name that they have fallen victim to. So a lot of individuals try to protect each other by saying, hey, Joe Blow out there, he scammed me out of $2,500, right? So a lot of individuals within the circles will try to protect each other from what they have instead of reporting it to law enforcement. But go slow, ask a lot of questions. If that individual seems too perfect and it's moving too quickly, if they also ask you to leave the dating website and just start texting them privately or emailing them privately or going to another messaging app, just be very cautious about that. And if you've never met them and they start asking you to receive money for them or sending them money or funneling money, that's a red flag. That is a huge red flag, because now you're gearing over into illegal activity. Always be careful, like if they keep promising that they're going to meet you in person eventually. Right now it's just at the time, the trip got canceled. I had an emergency come up at work. I'm working for a big construction company. This deal fell through. I can't come home. I can't meet you right now. We've had a lot of angels that will either go to the airport and they're just left waiting there, right? So if you never meet them, then there's something fishy with the relationship. And again, never send money to someone that you've never met online.
Right. That's, I guess, the biggest red flag is just don't send money to people you don't know. And of course, asking those questions. I think asking personal questions, especially if they want to date you, has a lot to do with it too. Just as if they were dating you in person. All those questions that you go through just to get to know their family or more about them. I mean, some of those things you can probably find out online if you just ask.
Those questions, they can use those answers against you as well, right? Because they're keeping a journal on you, and they're going to form their answers to better fit what they already know about you and your likes and dislikes. So they're going to keep continuing to be like this perfect individual. Well, guess what? Nobody is that perfect individual. But just be careful because sometimes they may even talk to you on the phone. We've had one situation where I know that they tried to fake the gentleman by talking to a grown daughter, right? So they'll say, oh, here, if you want to validate who I am, please call this number. And that's my daughter. She lives in DC. Well, it's just another member of the scam ring, right? So just be very careful, because if you can't meet that person as well, I mean, just think about it. Like, think of like a normal relationship. You're going to meet them in person. You're going to go out to have coffee. You're going to go out to have lunch or dinner or something. Yes, long distance, that will slow things down, but slow your progression down as well. Like, don't jump over that cliff right away, right?
Where can victims file a report? like, is this a police issue, like local police issue, or should people contact the FBI?
So we ask individuals to, number one, if you feel like you're a victim or if you've seen a family member, contact your financial institution first to try to stop. Because what happens if you gave them your bank account number or your credit card numbers, or if they've asked you to open credit card numbers for them or credit card accounts for them? So take care of that first. But yes, contact the FBI. With most things, the FBI looks at the totality of the circumstance. So if it's over $5,000, $500,000, we take a look at that. So we want to take a look at the network, not necessarily the one individual. So you can contact the police department, but we always tell people to file it at the FBI's ic3.gov. That's our Internet Complaint Crime Center, or sorry, our Internet Crime Complaint Center, www.ic3.gov. And it just helps us keep track of the trends, how much money. They will send that each field office that you reside in, and that way they can look at the crime and look at the trend and then try to help you try to recover the money. So the quicker you let us know, the quicker we can work with the financial institutions and try to help you recover your money.
And I know it's impossible to have a discussion in such a short period of time. It's like, I think these types of conversations, maybe even given by the FBI, should be available in high school, because I think that's where dating starts, but at the same time, just for those who are becoming young adults who may not know, or their parents may not have had the conversation with them, how to avoid that, in the beginning, and of course, at the same time, our over 40, community members also figuring out a way to make sure that they're okay, having that conversation with friends and family members that we know are single and who are online dating, just so that they can be aware. So is there any other information that the FBI can share with the community about these romance scams? Because I do believe that there has been an increase, like I think you stated previously, because of the pandemic. A lot of people are online and a lot of people are utilizing online dating services. Is there any other information that you can share with us regarding romance scams?
I think it's really important that if you meet somebody online, I think it's a natural progression that you're going to want to share that new relationship with friends and family. So I think it'd be a really good idea if you ran the scenario by a trusted friend, right? Somebody that you believe, like, you can get that honest truth with, or you're very open with them. It's a good idea to talk to them about this person or this relationship, just to have an additional set of eyes look at the relationship. If you ever feel that there might be something wrong, always just trust your gut, right? Remember, the heart takes over and it shuts down the logical part of our brain. So if you feel something in your gut that just doesn't seem right, stop all contact with them, right? If they keep pestering you, contact the dating service site that you're on to have them blocked, or have report the incident, right? Because they have security procedures that they should be following to protect their clients on the websites. And if you ever have a concern and you just want to talk to somebody, feel free to call our office. We have investigators that work these specific type of crimes. You can call us at 915-832-5000, and we'll talk you through some of the red flags that we see. If we're seeing this individual is a perpetrator, if it's a pseudonym, they're not a real individual, just run it by us. We always have time for individuals.
So we're going to be doing this every month, of course, the first Friday of each month. And I know the FBI has like themes also, that you focus on for each month. So do you have a theme for next month, for March already, or can people submit some questions or topics that they would like to see you address?
Oh, of course, yes, because there's so many different topics out there, so we want to relate to you guys in the community. So if there is something that's a hot topic that's hitting you guys, but we may not be on our radar, please bring that forward. And then I think next month, we really want to focus on women in the FBI, because it's Women's History Month next month in March. So we want to be able to celebrate are women that have joined the FBI in either the agent role or the professional staff role. Just so you guys get a better feel of, it's not the male-dominated field that it used to be. Here I'm 5'3½". You wouldn't think if I was a special agent wearing a weapon, like protecting our nation as I do every day. We just want to be able to show the women in our organization and talk about their journey and what brought them into the FBI.
Great. We're looking forward to that. I'm really excited about that one because I think we have some awesome women in the community who may be looking at career changes, and this is definitely one of them. So I want to thank you again, Jeanette, for coming on and sharing with us. And we look forward to seeing you the first Friday in March.
Thank you, Monica.